Crabby peeps, Suzanna here today to share with you my layout that I created for this month's CocoaDaisy Designers Challenge. The challenge is to scrap your favorite summer memory or something on your summer bucket list. And I created this, which is my kids' favorite summer memory of National Ice Cream Day and make your own banana splits. So I used the May CocoaDaisy kits, and I challenged myself to use that banana paper that's right there. When I get the kits, I like to challenge myself to use something in them that either I wouldn't normally use or that is not my style, or just something that I normally, and in the process of designing over the month, think, I want to use this. So that was what I chose, and because the kids had banana splits, the bananas fit perfectly into the theme. So I chose that piece of pattern paper and used that as the basis for my color palette. So I went with the colors yellow, pink, and either white or off-white. And most of the bulk of this grid layout comes from ephemera from Crepe Paper Oasis, and I pulled tags and bits and pieces, and then I supplemented that with the CocoaDaisy exclusive either chipboard and or print and cut files. I did use one of the day in the life cards, and that is the pink that will be in the bottom middle column, and I used one of the simple stories cut aparts that said the best summer, only I just wanted the best. And so I organized all of those pieces around my pictures in a grid format. And I loosely just chose all the things to fit in there before I stuck everything down. And I really liked those flowers, but I struggled with there being a color in there that didn't work for me. So later you'll see that I go and I take care of that. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Oh, I really liked the back of this piece of pattern paper, and I wanted to include that somewhere too because it also had the pink and yellow, but I don't find anywhere to make that fit. So I've committed to this grid format and decide to start adhering everything down. This is another one of the things that I challenged myself to use. I am not a ribbon gal at all, and it's easy for me to stick ribbon in tags, and so I decided that that's how I was going to get this used up, and used it in a tag. And the pink was perfect because it went with the pink and yellow theme that I had decided to go with for this layout. And I adhere that down, but you'll see later that I change where I put it because I really liked the Hello Sunshine, and it's difficult to read it with the tags, the tails of the ribbon sticking up into that banner. So I wanted this fussy cut. You could tell that I had cut it out of something, and I didn't very cleanly cut it intentionally because I knew I was going to fussy cut it. So I just went around each of the letters, and you'll see that I move the paper. I open and close my scissors, but most of the cutting action is actually the moving of the paper, and that way it goes a whole lot quicker for me, and I don't get carpal tunnel either. I am a physical therapist, and so avoiding carpal tunnel is extremely important to me because my hands are my livelihood as well as my craft. And while I liked it fussy cut, it needed a background to it because it's kind of hard to see on top of those bananas. So I pull out this pink and decide that that is going to be a great way to pop that yellow on the pink. And for a little added pop, I use my foam to pop that even higher off the pink, just for a little added depth and dimension. Because I had fussy cut it, I do have to also fussy cut the foam so that you don't see the foam, and each of the letters stands out mostly popped and doesn't depress. So there's a fair amount of foam on the back there. Stick that on the pink, and then I just have to figure out how long I want that to be. I was not very precise in this grid. I just wanted to have those 3 columns basically and have things fit within those 3 columns. I tried to fill the gaps where I could, but I wasn't overly worried if there were some spaces that didn't seem filled or seemed empty. I really loved the ice cream from the exclusive CocoaDaisy die cuts and wanted to use that, especially given that it was National Ice Cream Day. It was only fitting to use that. I tried putting it over LAX. So this is where sorry, I cut my sentence off. This is where I moved that ribbon. Was I talking about the ice cream? So I really wanted to use that, and I tried putting it in that space on the LAX tag. It just didn't really fit there. So I still am wanting to use that and cut down this day in the life card to fit in that spot right there. And I had pulled, you can see from that little black tray above my layout, I pulled all of the the pink and yellow elements to shuffle around and see what I wanted to make work on my page. I ran that dot through my Xyron sticker maker. It's easier to get some of the smaller elements down and really well stuck if you just use the sticker maker. So I also decided to pop those flowers. I had the title sort of popped, and it needs some other things. And so I just go and get a few of my epoxy dots, enamel dots, and use a few of those to cover up the colors that didn't work to add some more pink and yellow to that. I had put the picture down and it didn't work for there because I really wanted the bottom edges to all line up in all three columns. So I had to shift that up a little bit in order to be able to use all elements that I wanted down the bottom of the page there. And if you don't push too hard, it is easy to shift things up. So there's where I'm going to use the ice cream. But I do find that the border or the background underneath of the Day in the Life card, while I love it, is not quite dark enough, and the ice cream doesn't really pop out of there. I also have a few shots of really bright pink and want to brighten that up some. So in a minute you'll see that I get out some of my shimmers and just water it down and use it like paint. I also had the stamps from the kits that I really wanted to use, only there's a lot of busyness with all of the bits and pieces that make up the grid, so decide that stamping is not going to work on this layout. So when you shoot mist, make sure you move your layout out of the way. I knew better, but as a result, I have pink on the right-hand side of my layout, and I just decided to make that part of the design element with a shot of mist down the bottom. And so in order to cover up my mistake or supplement my mistake, I used a little bit more pink and put a large pink drop from the water brush just to make it look intentional. So because I had painted that directly onto the Day in the Life card, I do have to go in and put some extra adhesive because it did sort of buckle up from the page. So there I'm adhering it all down. It's still sort of wet, but it didn't really matter because it wasn't soaking wet. And then just go in and fill in with a few of the chipboard pieces. I love the chipboard. That's new to CocoaDaisy this month, or new for me as long as I've been with CocoaDaisy, and really like these chipboard pieces. They're a fun element to add to the collection. So that's going to wrap it up for the layout, more or less. I do journal in the under LAX just about their favorite summer experience. We would love for you to join us. Be sure to link us up on some form of social media. Thanks for joining me today. Enjoy the close-ups, and if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments. Thanks!